Major moves. We going all in, like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves. Making major moves.
Warning, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't blame me or any other random person that gives you some money tips for any of your financial decisions. I provide information based on research that may guide you to taking a deeper look at a particular company. However, in no way am I suggesting to invest or not invest in that company. Your decisions are that of your own. I present information that is readily available on the internet, and I piece together the story to create and provide a more holistic concept to create a bigger picture. This information is for educational purposes only. Ultimately, I'm a guy in a Spider-Man mask, and you should not take financial advice or information from me.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Have I got a great one for you guys today. I've been excited to push this out all day. I feel the energy within me, and it just wants to regurgitate all over the place here. Anyways, today is going to be a good one. Connections with Stellar and Ripple. Let's jump right into this here. So if y'all remember back in the day, last month in December, I believe it was, you know what, I don't even know when this came out, but this here on Stellar's website here, fast, cheap, and connected. Meet USDC on Stellar. So this is not new news at all. We're well aware, at least I'm well aware, I hope you guys are on my channel are now, that Stellar has partnered with USDC. They've been like married. Anyways, this had come out, and then not long after that, pop, December 15th, just last month, this came here. UN to send displaced Ukrainians USDC to convert into local currencies. That's not new to us, right? That shouldn't be new to y'all here, but what I find really interesting, I had stated that I believe this is a test. What they have is the plumbing, the pipes, the copper pipes with all the plumbing and water inside, and then they have the floodgates in there. And all it is a little pinprick, just poof, right in there, and it's a little trickle of XLM coming out. That's why you don't see the price flooding right now. Just a little trickle coming out of those floodgates. And I know this is a test. Check this out. On the UN's webpage here, this is the UN's page. The UN, look, let me show you guys here. Look at that. The UN Refugees Agency, UNHCR, launches pilot. It's a pilot. They're doing a proof of concept right now. POC is what they call this. Cash-based intervention using blockchain technology for humanitarian payments to people displaced and impacted by the war in Ukraine. Boom. Right there, okay? So we know that they're sending USDC to these lovely people. We know USDC rides on the Stellar rails, right? Okay. And now as we fast forward to December 19th, here's what becomes really interesting now. UK's Financial Services and Markets Bill should be passed by spring 2023, the Treasury says. All right. So now that we have that information, that there's a bill being pushed right now through the House of Lords, I believe it's called. That's going to come out sometime in the spring. When it's spring, March is spring. So we have a lot converging at March here. Let me introduce you all here to the Bank of England. This gentleman right here, right there. Look at his face. That is John Cunliffe. Okay, he is the Deputy Governor of Financial Stability since November 1st, 2023. John is a member of the bank's Financial Policy and Monetary Policy Committees, the bank's Court of Director, and the Prudential Regulatory Committee. Who is the Prudential Regulatory Committee? That involves the BIS. Where else does he reside? Let me show you guys how deep this goes, how deep this man is. All right. This is right on the Financial Stability's website here. The FSB, Financial Stability Board. This here is Klaas Knot. He's the head of the FSB. These guys come from different central banks. All right, that's how they all form these things. You see the IMF over here, Tobias Adrian. Let me put that guy's name in here. John, there he is. He is on the CPMI, Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructures. So he understands the market infrastructure side of things when it comes to these payments and cross-border payments here. That's who he is. He's the chair. All right? That's who this gentleman is. So now that we know who he is and we've established that trust for him, let's hear what he has to say. Sorry if I'm pointing. I don't talk like that. Yeah. I don't talk like that. Let me just scroll back a little bit here.
Take out some of the risks in the system.
The government says it wants to be a hub for this kind of stuff. It wants to attract this kind of investment. Is it do we need the regulation for that to be a safe ambition?
I think you need the regulation for two reasons. One, for it to be a safe ambition. I think the government very much agrees with that. There's a bill going through Parliament now that will give the Bank of England.
There's a bill going through Parliament now.
Powers to regulate stablecoins when they're used to make payments. And we're
That bill is for stablecoin used to make payments.
developing the regulatory regime there. But I think it's another thing as well that actually innovators, people who are developing new systems, want to know what is the regulatory framework I need to work within. How do I design my technology, my product, the thing I'm trying to offer to people in such a way that it will meet regulation. So, I think if we're going to get sustainable innovation, things that are really useful and that can last, the developers have to know what the regulatory framework is so they can develop within it.
So, going to people who what's just happened with FTX may have confirmed prejudice or views they already hold about crypto. They might say the UK is crazy to be going near this stuff. This is the Wild West. The Bank of England's been here for 300 odd years. Shouldn't be our business.
So we have to be very clear what we're talking about. If we're talking about using these crypto technologies to create basically crypto assets that have nothing behind them, that are very volatile, change in value, I don't think there's ever going to be a sustainable sort of financial activity around that. There are some people who will want to invest or gamble on them, and as I said before, people should be allowed to do that. But I don't think there's a sustainable financial system built around things that can lose half their value in a day or increase half their value. If we're talking about creating the regulation in which people can see whether they can develop services that have benefit using those technologies to the real economy, and the services have benefit because of the technology and the business model, not because they're outside regulation and it's easier for them to operate, then I think there is a real benefit for the UK in terms of the technology and just the services we get as households and firms.
Beautiful. So you heard that there. They're not talking about gambling, and they suggest you shouldn't gamble with crypto assets that are unbacked. All right? And he said there's a bill. There's a bill being passed right now within the House, dubbed the House of Lords, Financial Services and Markets Bill. And this came out on the 16th. The 16th, right? Where were those dates again? Where were those dates? This here is December 15th when they started doing this initiative here. And then we found out that that's on the stellar rails for the UN doing a pilot on the 15th. And on the 16th, literally the next day, they put this bill through the House, okay? So that's just to give you the timeline on how things are working here. Here's the House of Lords. On January 10th, 2023, the second reading of the Financial Services and Markets Bill is scheduled to take place in the House of Lords. So that passed already too. The Financial Service and Markets Bill seeks to make wide-ranging changes to the regulation of financial services in the UK. It would implement the outcomes of the Future Regulatory Framework Review, a several-stage process conducted between 2019 in 2022 that sought views on the regulation of financial services after the UK's exit from the EU. How interesting. All right. So, the government sets out its proposal for changes to regulation under this framework, as well as repealing retain EU financial services legislation. It proposed to introduce new statutory objectives for the Prudential Regulatory Authority and the Financial Conduct Authority to reflect the importance of the financial services sector as an engine of growth for the wider economy and the need to support the future strength and viability of the UK as a global financial center. So they want that hub status. They want to be a crypto hub. They want to amend existing regulatory principles to ensure that sustainable growth should occur in a way that is consistent with the government's commitment to achieve a net zero economy by 2050. They want to give the regulators more power so they can make rules covering all areas of financial services regulation currently retained in EU law. They want to put mechanisms through which the regulators provide information to Parliament on a statutory footing, put in place a new requirement for the PRA, if you remember who they are, up here, Prudential, let me highlight it for you, Prudential Regulations Authority, and the FCA, right there too, Financial Conduct Authority. So those are the two main regulators for the EU, UK, okay? To respond to recommendation letters issued by the Treasury and give the Treasury a new power to require the regulators to review their existing rule where the government considers it in the public interest. So, what I'm going to do later on is dive into the UK's Treasury and see these new rules that they're going to give power to. Require regulators to consider the potential impacts on deference arrangements and assess compliance with relevant trade agreements as a matter of course when making rules and when setting general policy on supervision where relevant and proportionate. Perfect. The retained EU law revocation and reform bill would, if enacted in its current form without being changed, provide for the revocation of direct EU legislation and EU-derived subordinate legislation. However, retained EU law relating to financial services would not be affected by these provisions. So essentially, the financial services would not be affected by the rules and regulations or legislations that are going to change to bring these stable coins into the real world. The rules will surround around the stablecoin itself, but it won't impact the PSP, the payment service providers, and how that functions within the UK. All right. So now that we have that established, let's find out, actually, jumping back to here again now, the UN. We know the UN is using money in the UK. They're using USDC on the back of XLM, Stellar Rails. So, Stellar at that point would be considered a stablecoin. UN is partnered with the World Bank. All right? I'm going to show you these things here. The World Bank. Here's a document from the World Bank. I'm sure you've seen this on many channels before. I'm just putting the puzzle pieces together for you guys now. The more that we learn, the more we can put together here, okay? If you have information, by all means, please drop it in the comments there, and I'll add that to the next video. We can just keep adding to this, and this can be a living document as well. Central bank digital currencies for cross-border payments. So we already have cross-border payments taking place in the UK, through the UN to Ukraine. So let's see how that's being facilitated. XRP, right down, not there, right here. Stable coins for cross-border payments taking place already. Stablecoin refers to a class of digital currencies that are relatively stable in terms of their price. Stablecoins offer instantaneous processing and security of payments as many cryptocurrencies do. That's not true. Many don't offer stable prices when trading cryptocurrencies. They also offer stability with respect to their parity against fiat currency. Two digital currencies that fall into this category are Ripple's Net, native digital currency, XRP, and Stellar's native currency, XLM. Both Ripple and Stellar enable faster and more efficient cross-border payments relative to correspondent banking. Correspondent banking is what we have been in since my conception on this, on this earth here. Since maybe yours too, possibly yours too. Unless you're a little baby right now, it doesn't matter to you. But correspondent banking is what we've been using. Now we're stepping into a new world, a digital economy, with the gig economy, with the gig workers. So now that we know where the UN gets its money, and how the UN is using the money that it gets as a stable coin on the back of USDC, on the back of XLM, sent over to Ukraine, perfect. Let's jump back over to here, the Bank of England. Okay, we're going back to the Bank of England now. Here. Is that it? Sorry, here. Ripple partners with the Digital Pound Foundation for development of British CBDC. We're over in the UK now. We're back with John Cunliffe that we were just talking about there. Yeah, we watched him as well. Here on the Ripple page, back in 2017, Ripple selected to participate in the Bank of England FinTech Accelerator. So Ripple and the Bank of England, they're like this. They got a holy matrimony going on too. So now we got pilots going on here. All right. This is where we're at. We got a proof of concept here for 2017. Their proof of concept, you're not going to know about it unless you dig for it. So here is the FinTech Accelerator proof of concept, right? Ripple exploring the synchronized settlement of payments using interledger protocol. What's interledger protocol? That is on the back end of things. That's for central banks to utilize and move money around. Meanwhile, they have a proof of concept working on the front end at the same time, not same time, but years later now with Stellar to see how that works with USDC. Stellar's CEO is Jeremy Allaire. He's the founder, I want to say, of USDC, to my knowledge. If I'm wrong, let me know. I have no fear with being wrong. Correct me if you must. I'm good to learn. The more I learn, the more I can present to you guys, the better my information is for y'all. Moving on. All right. Oh, the Bank of England FinTech Accelerator works with innovation firms and new technologies. In this proof of concept, POCs, learn those acronyms because you're going to see them all over the place. We wanted to explore the synchronized movement of two different currencies in two different simulated real-time gross settlement, or RTGS, systems using the interledger protocol. All right. So, that being said, that brings us to back in November here. The global stablecoin race is on Ripple's page here. A global stablecoin race. How intriguing is that? So you have Ripple's coin, Ripple Nets and XRP being dubbed stablecoins by the, where are they? By the World Bank. You have Stellar, proof of concept working over here. Where is it? Sorry. Right here. You have Stellar being utilized with USDC to facilitate and being used as a stable coin as well. So we are on page 17 now that we learned that. Let me jump up here so let you guys see where I'm at. I'm on the FSB document, Financial Stability Board, a review of the Financial Stability Board high-level recommendations. Not low-level, not mid-level, not in between, not extra medium. This is a high-level regulation. Supervision and oversight of global stablecoin arrangements. Let's jump back down to page 17. Here we go. Authorities should apply comprehensive regulatory, supervisory, and oversight requirements consistent with international standards to GSC arrangements. Where do we see that word, that acronym? GSC? G right here, GSC, Global Stablecoin. You can go to Google, punch that in yourself, GSC, and all you'll see is information from the FSB, Financial Stability Board, the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, and Ripple is the first and only cryptocurrency company that pops up. Not my words, I'm just telling you what I've seen. Alright. Where am I? To promote a technology neutral approach that enables comprehensive oversight of GSC's functions and activities and mitigates regulatory arbitrage. Authorities should focus on the functions performed by the GSC arrangement and risks posed and apply the appropriate regulatory framework consistent with the international standards. International standards, okay? Remember this. In the same manner as they would apply to entities and persons performing the same function or activity and posing the same risk. So same activity, same risk, same regulations. Okay? So we have it established. Boom. Let me jump over to here. I posted this the other day. VARA, Virtual Asset Real Opportunity. What they're doing is implanting things in different regions, and you have to use those different regions to make your connections. The international standards they had set, okay? That's what I had just read you on the FSB website. VARA, Virtual Assets Real Opportunity. By enabling economic independence, responsible participation, and progressive innovation, I'm right here, Dubai has established the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, BAM, VARA, as the central authority for the global virtual asset industry in the Emirate of Dubai. A single approach to regulations. Not a double, not a triple, not two shots, a single approach. The Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, or VARA, is the sole authority regulating virtual assets across Dubai. Here's where the meat and potatoes comes in. I like more of the meat and potatoes. I want some vegetables too, but meat and potatoes. As the world's first independent regulator of virtual assets, VARA serves as a transparent and trusted guiding authority for the emerging world of virtual assets. VARA aims to take its mission global by creating an easy-to-replicate framework to regulate the industry. Let me say that word again, and that. An easy-to-replicate framework to regulate the industry. Industry, the entire globe. All right? VARA aims to take its mission global. Global here. Okay? And over here, we were talking about the international standards for GSC arrangements. Meanwhile, these guys have regulations already, and they're going to take it global. All right? Leveraging expertise from global experts. Who are these global experts? Where'd you go, man? Where'd you global experts go? All right, Gary Gensler is here too. There he is. He is on the board here of the Financial Stability Board. He is in the background with Ripple during this whole court case, helping to create the framework to regulate this. There's Japan, there's the IMF, Korea, BIS, Mexico, Brazil, ECB, Netherlands, Canada, Europe, Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, France, Singapore, the IAIS, South Africa, Germany, Spain, IOSCO. Let me show you guys even deeper who these regulating bodies are, okay? International Standards Settings Bodies. Let's see if it comes up. Not there. Let me go to Google. Google has it. Standard setting bodies. Bam. First one. Here we go. Back to the FSB website. Here's the remainder of your regulators. All right. There's the CPMI. There's a quick blurb of who they are. There's the BCBS, the Bank of International Settlements, and the G10. There's the GF, Committee on the Global Financial System. Right. Here's FATF, Financial Action Task Force. Here's the FSB. We saw who comprises of the FSB. Here you have the IAID. There's the IAIS, who we just read about. IASB, IAASB, IMF, IOPS, IOSCO, IFBS, JF, IOECD, and then there is the World Bank. Did we not just go over the World Bank? How interesting is that? There they are. There's the World Bank. Talking about XRP and XLM as stable coins. And all of a sudden they show up as global stablecoins. And the global stablecoin race is on. Very, very interesting. Very nice. Very nice. My sister, she a number 2 in Kazakhstan, yeah? I like America. Anyways, jumping down to VARA. What these regulations are, I haven't read yet. I have not read, full disclosure, but here they are. Here's the VARA, the Dubai Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority regulations. Right here. This is the regulated framework that's going to be used globally. The global regulated framework to be used internationally, as we just found out. I cannot thank you guys enough for joining me on this journey. Today was astounding, and I couldn't wait to just all this out. I appreciate you guys who follow me. Please share this content with your friends, with your family, to anybody willing to listen. I'm going to keep putting the puzzle pieces together. I'm well aware there's pieces missing. Some on the end here, some on the inside, the cute little butterfly over here that'll fit in perfectly next to this one here. But when I get those, I'll continue to put those pieces together. Thank you for joining me on this journey. A lot of respect. Have a good night.
Making major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.